Hello, welcome to this week's episode of Talkies. This is Adam Neverbarrow, and I'm joined by my furry birthday boy, Basset Hound Buddy. Um, so Buddy's birthday today. Happy birthday, Buds. 7 years old. Uh, that time has flown by. I remember going to pick him up when he was going to see him when he was 4 weeks old, and I could fit him in the palm of my hand, and it was the cutest little thing I ever seen. Um, when you see him now, I think, he's 32 kilos of brute strength and just rolls of fat. But yeah, there you go. Happy birthday, buds. Little shout out to my dog there. Um, so this week's episode is basically reflecting 24 hours after our fantastic win against Newcastle United. I mean, I was not expecting that whatsoever. If for those that listen to the podcast on a regular basis, you'd hear my pessimistic true colours come out being a West Ham fan, and predicting a 3-0 loss, just purely because I'm just so low on confidence as a fan, and just didn't know when things were starting to tick. And it just so happened that this game showed exactly why Lopetegui was hired as West Ham manager, or head coach even. But I've again, he wasn't my first choice. I'm not going to, stand here and say, "Oh, Lopetegui is the best thing since sliced bread," and completely do a 180. I mean, I still have my reservations about him as being a long-term successor at the club. I still have my reservations on the club choosing the right man. Um, but you've got to give credit where credit is due. And the first 13 games of the season have been very, very tough. Very tough fixtures, and not really changing the style of play from David Moyes' era, which is the problem. And the the rift amongst the fan base is we wanted a change of manager from David Moyes because we had seen enough. We're thankful for what he had done, but we wanted something different. We wanted to see a more attractive style of play. We wanted to be more possession based, see more of the ball, have more chances on goal, be defensively solid at the back. But that wasn't happening the first 13 games. I mean, we clawed out a few results. Crystal Palace away, Ipswich at home, and Man United at home, and we clawed a few draws. And obviously, it is an improvement when you look at it from a fixture to fixture comparison to last season, where we got absolutely demolished 5-0 to Fulham. We drew 1-1 this year, thanks to a Danny Ings late equaliser. We lost 3-2 to Brentford, and we come away with a draw again. Um, so as frustrating as it has been, and my good friend Nigel Khan correctly points out that we are improving. The stats are better, um, and the level of expectation has been installed because of what we're being fed as fans. More so my age and younger, just because that's what we've been fed. But the older generation can see past that, um, past the spin, and are probably a lot more relaxed by having Lopetegui in charge than the younger fan base. But again, credit where credit is due. I thought West Ham played fantastically well, in a 4-1-4-1 formation, um, which is Lopetegui's style of play. That's how he plays in that formation. He doesn't play 4-2-3-1. That's a David Moyes tactic, and we've we now feel that this game. Not saying we're going to, you know, yeah, that's it. That's the turning point of our entire season. I mean, there's still a lot of work to do. There's still games that will have to be played over this festive period that are going to be very challenging. Um, fixture, we're going to be playing almost 10 games in a month, which is always a tough period in December. But um, there's hope after that game. There's hope that if we continue to play like we did against Newcastle by obtaining more of the ball, being more explosive on the wings, by Carlos Soler uh, and Paqueta having their passing creativity, and Somerville and Wan-Bissaka and Bowen on the wings, just bursting through defences when we get a chance on goal. Um, it looks good. It looks good, and I think a lot of West Ham fans. Full credit to the 3,200 fans that travelled up to St James's Park on a Monday night after the fixture was changed to suit Premier League viewing. But the fan base come away very, very pleased and excited for the first time this season. Seeing a performance like that is encouraging. So, you know, Lopetegui, I'm not I'm not apologising just yet, but I think there's still room for improvement. We have to be consistent with this level of performance, and if we keep up that level, we're going to have a good season. Um, the the positive points are with just 6 points off the top four. Um, we've got easier fixtures, or supposedly easier fixtures coming through, but yeah, it's good. It's good signs. It's good signs at the minute. Um, yeah, so let's see what the season has in mind, um, especially this December. So yeah, there's a lot of positives to take, and more positives to take. Mohamed Kudus is back. Alvarez is back. Fulkrug looks set to be fit. We could have a full selection headache on our hands now, and yeah, I think let's just, as West Ham fans, we've got to back the club now. Hopefully, there's no as much as the calls have been had for Lopetegui's head. I think after a performance like that, how can you make a change now? Because now you're onto something. If it was 3 or 4 games ago and they made a decision, you completely understand why they made that decision. But uh, again, you've got to credit the loyalty bestowed upon the club board of directors by sticking with their decision in keeping Lopetegui and giving him that amount of time. So yeah, as much as the call is to get an exciting younger manager in or head coach in, who realistically is going to better that team at the moment. Um, And there's a lot of calls out for Edin Terzic. As nice as it is having the West Ham connection with him and him coaching Bellingham at Borussia Dortmund and get to a Champions League final and unearthing more youth talent, it's just underwhelming. It's not the answer. Um, I think West Ham are probably playing the long game, as discussed on uh, episode 12 of our podcast. I think Lopetegui is there to steady the ship until 2026, until a top manager becomes available once their contract expires at a certain job. Who that is, it remains to be seen. I mean, when you cross the T's and dot the I's, um, Julian Nagelsmann fits that bill, especially with Daniel Krasinski having a declared interest very early on during his takeover at West Ham or investment in West Ham. He hasn't taken over just yet. Um, yeah, that's a name that would excite a lot of West Ham fans and would definitely put the cat amongst the pigeons in the Premier League, especially with potential takeover rumours occurring, full control ownership of the London Stadium in a 999-year lease agreement, similar to Man City's deal with the Etihad. New kit manufacturer, a big player, someone like Puma or Nike, pushing and elevating West Ham, um, not just in Europe but in North America as well. A new sponsorship. Again, there's been rumours of having a big investment firm sponsoring the stadium, as well as a partnership with the shirt, like Allianz, for instance. Um, but it wouldn't surprise me if we get someone like Foot Locker as a shirt sponsor, especially if we get a Nike deal, because then that way, Nike Foot Locker stocks 70% of their products as Nike, and funny enough, Daniel Krasinski owns a 6% stake in Foot Locker, so he has the connections to build that marketing relationship up. So 2026, summer 2026 could be configuring London Stadium and having full ownership and earning a significant revenue from that. New sponsorship deal, new kit manufacturing deal, new manager, potentially new players coming in. It could be an exciting time. So the overall question I'm asking a lot of listeners now, especially West Ham fans, do you keep Lopetegui until the summer of 2026 for the betterment of a exciting potential project? That's the question I'm going to leave you. In terms of family goals at the moment, there's not really much to go on. Connie enjoyed a lovely day out with her mum at Barleylands. Went and brushed some donkeys. Went on a tractor ride. Had a lovely bit of Victoria sponge cake, and come back a very tired monkey, which is very, very good. And we baked a cake for Buddy to have, a dog-friendly cake covered in dog biscuits. So, yeah, that's been the family goal so far this week. But yeah, that's it. I'm going to leave you now. And I hope you've enjoyed listening. Don't forget to listen to our podcast on this week, episode 13, where we talk about the Dad's Dad Job Derby, which is West Ham v Arsenal. So it'll be an interesting listen. We're potentially going to be recording in-game reactions on Saturday, and there might be a special appearance from some of the guys on other podcasts in the coming weeks. So yeah, we're getting ourselves about now. We're setting up relationships with people. We're doing collaborations. We're trying to get interviews in. We're trying our very, very hardest to kind of make our podcast grow. So thank you to those that keep listening to us. You can find us on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. We're very active on Twitter, Threads, and Instagram. So if you want to drop us a line, drop us a message, comment on our posts, please do so. We're very open and approachable. And yeah, we look forward to hearing from you. So good night, God bless, and see you next time.